Okay, that's filming now. Let's see if I can do this one. Hello Matt, thanks for coming along today. The session I'm going to do with you today is a quick 10-minute skills session. It's in element 4, working safely in the medical radiation environment, using required personal protective equipment in the medical imaging environment. So what we'll do is I'll just talk to you about radiation protection in general. So what do you think of when you think about radiation protection?
Gowns, anything taken away from the distance of it.
Yep, okay. So this is not what we wear, okay? That's probably an over-the-top example of what people may think about radiation protection. We don't worry about that because that would be cumbersome to work in, and we don't need that much protection anyway. In our previous sessions, we touched on 2 main protective mechanisms that you can use. Can you remember what they were? You mentioned them just a moment ago.
Yeah, distance and gowns.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So that's your 2 main protections. So today we'll focus on how to put the gown on properly and how to choose the gown as well. So at the end of this session, we'll be getting you to put the gown on correctly, choosing what gown to put on, when to use it, and then also the rationale behind what you're wearing as you're putting it on. And I'll ask you a few questions at the start about why we're doing it and why you need to wear it. Then I'll be demonstrating how to put the gown on correctly, and then I'll give you a chance to have a go yourself and see how you go with that. This skill is really important when you're working in radiology or medical imaging. You have to have competence, and you have to demonstrate competence in this skill to work in this area, because it's too important. Radiation safety is something that we take very seriously, and we've got strict procedures and protocols around wearing your protective lead apron, and if you don't abide by those departmental protocols and procedures, you'll be putting your health at risk, basically. So we take it very seriously. The radiographers have a legal duty and a legal duty of care to you and all the other workers as well to make sure it's all done correctly. So I've just got a couple of questions here. So why do we wear lead aprons in medical imaging?
Protect a lot of organs and reduce the amount of radiation.
That's right, yeah, exactly. So can you tell me, you've got 2 choices here. You've got a full piece at the back there, which is a bit hard to see, but if I turn it, it will fall over. And then you've got a skirt and a top. Can you tell me why you would wear the skirt and top rather than the full piece?
A little more manoeuvrability out of it. You have to move a bit more. Put a bit more protection as well.
Yeah, exactly. The full piece, as you can probably see, doesn't have a full covering of your back. They're handy just for a little, rush in, rush out type thing, or if you're going to be staying in the same spot like in CT and not moving. But for us, when we're going in there, we're moving around and we're with the patient, and then you might have to go and get something from somewhere and come back again, you will be turning your back onto the image intensifier, so you need to have full protection. The other reason is because this is 2 pieces, the weight is distributed evenly across your body. So you've got the hips taking some of the weight and the shoulders taking some of the weight, whereas in the full piece, all the weight is on your shoulders. So it's really not that good for long-term cases as well. Now, why is it important that you wear an apron that fits correctly?
Cover everything, I guess,
Yeah, because you're fairly tall. So if you have a gown or an apron, I should say, that it's only like mid-thigh, you've got a whole lot of your leg that's exposed to radiation. And radiation that's got to be stressed is dangerous in a cumulative fashion. So it's not the one-off exposure, it's the exposure on top of the exposure on top of the exposure. We work here every day, we're going in and out every day, so we need to protect ourselves properly all the time to stop that build-up of radiation in our system. Now, there's a thyroid collar up there as well, which is this thing here. Why would you put that on?
Protect everything in the neck.
Yeah, okay. That's exactly right. Now, the breakdown of the tasks it's pretty simple when you break it down into little bits. So the first step is, do I need to put my lead apron on? So you're asked to go into a room, look at the door, the light's on saying there's radiation being emitted in there. So do you need to put your lead apron on? That'd be a yes. Now, next task step is which size do I put on? So you've got a whole row of lead aprons there. You've got to choose the size that is best for you. Step 3 is you take this off the hanger, pop it on, and as I said, you put it on your hips just below your waist. So your hips are taking all of that weight with the skirt rather than anywhere else. Step 4 is you take the top off the hanger and then you put that on over your shoulders. So then your shoulders are taking some of the weight, and you've got a double where the two sides of the top meet. You've got double the coverage there, and you've got double the coverage as well where your skirt overlaps, and also again in the middle here where your top overlaps your skirt. So in that little bit there, you're quite well protected. And then the last step is to put the thyroid collar on. Okay, so you put the large part of the thyroid collar in the front, and then you do it up in the neck. So I'll go through those steps. You can have a look at those as I go, make sure I do it correctly if you like. And then we'll get you to have a go. Okay, so bossy nurse Karen's asked me to go into the room to empty the bins while there's a case going on. So you're outside the door, the light's on. Oh, I better get my lead apron. There's a whole choices here. You think this is the right size, so this is what we'll do. So take the skirt off. And as you can see, I'll wrap it around me. Oh, God. Just on the hips to here, and then wrap it around over the top, and then click it in. It's like a seat belt, and then make it fit. As that's fitting nice on my hips, I can move a little bit, and it doesn't feel like it's pulling on my back at all. Then we'll tap the top, Velcro off. So this goes on as well. Okay, so over and then over again, you've got the Velcro there, so put that on there. So you've got this double layer here, this double layer here, then you've got the top overlapping the bottom, so you're really well protected in this area here. The last thing is the thyroid collar. And this fits around the neck just under the chin, a bit like an Elizabethan collar, and it does up at the back, like that. And if it's comfortable, it means you're not wearing it properly. It sort of holds your neck up a little bit. So then you're well covered in this region as well. Arms are free to move, okay, so you can do your things. You know, it's not too bad in terms of twisting. So it's quite, as lead aprons go, it's relatively comfortable to wear. Not the most comfortable. Okay, so I'll take it off now, and then I'll get you to put it on for me. If you can explain to me as you're putting it on why you're putting it on, what are the benefits of it, then I'll know that this has been got a bit of a comprehension of why we're doing it. It's like one thing to know what to do, but you've got to know why you're doing it as well. So I've come along and said, Matt, can you go into room 3 for me? They're doing a case and they'll need the bins emptied. What's the first thing you do?
Check the radiation sign.
Yep, excellent. Yep. Okay. What's the next thing you do? You've got a whole lot of aprons to look at.
Pick their size,
And
my height.
yep. And what are you covering when you're thinking about size?
Making sure all the long bones and the legs are all covered.
Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. And because you're going into the room and moving around, you've got to choose which style.
Go with the skirt top so I've got flexibility to move around it.
And your back will be covered as well.
The backs will be covered.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So where are you putting that?
Just making sure it's sitting up on the hips, take all that weight.
Yep.
And making sure I do the seatbelt up.
That's right. Just like on the plane.
That's it. It's quite comfortable.
Yep. Looks rather dashing too. putting on your top, what are you thinking about?
Making sure that where it's an overlap, it's right in the centre.
Yep.
So get that double protection.
Lovely. And then what's this last piece called?
Thyroid piece, thyroid protector.
Yep. And how are you putting that on?
Right up under the chin,
Mm-hmm.
so it's nice and uncomfortable.
Exactly. Lovely. Okay, excellent. All right, you can take that off now and put it back up if you like. So today we've covered why and when you wear your leg protection, and you practice putting it on, so you're putting it on safely and correctly. So at the beginning of the session, I said to you that at the end of this you'll be able to select and wear your protective leg apron, and know when to wear it and why you're wearing it, and demonstrate putting it on. Now, do you think we've covered all of that today?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you feel pretty happy with that? You know,
Yeah.
next time I ask you to go into the room, you'll know what to do and what decisions to make? Yeah, excellent. All right then. So in our next session, we'll be covering taking off your lead apron, but also storing it. So knowing, understanding why we go to all this trouble to hang it up like this, and don't just fold it up and put it into a cupboard or throw it on the floor in the corner. Okay, so we'll meet back again and do that. All right, thanks a lot, Matt.
No problem.
I hope that works.